As part of that, I thought I would share some healthy tips from Mia Scott, revivehealthplan.com. She's joining me now on the Scott Sand Show. Mia, it's great to have you on. I love your social media. Everybody should be following Revive Health Plan on Insta, on TikTok, because you're not really like trying to sell us anything. You're actually giving us some advice that helps us live a healthier life, and I love that.
Yeah, it's all about health, and if they want to come and meet the providers, get a consult with us, they're more than welcome to. But I really just want to get the knowledge out, because knowledge is power, and the more we know, the better we can do. And
it's easy to set an appointment too. You can do it all through telehealth from your car, from your couch, from your office, wherever you want to do that. ReviveHealthPlan.com. On TikTok today, I believe, or this week at least, I saw you giving some tips, some research on back-to-school lunches and snacks for kids, because parents, without thinking, will send their kid to school or during the summer with Lunchables, which, I got to be honest, they're quite tasty. But then you told me what's in them, and I can't believe that's really, the ingredients are really include plastic. Is this true?
Yeah, so oddly enough, they actually got the Lunchables company got in trouble a few months ago here this year because of some testing that they found very high amounts of lead in their Lunchables. And that's, to be honest, that's one issue out of many with the Lunchables. But nonetheless, everything is, who can pay for what. So Lunchables was entered into our school programs to have Lunchables at school, and then some more research was done on that to see how poor quality the food is. So now Lunchable, I'm not sure if they've done this yet, but they were supposed to disclose that on the label that this is not for daily consumption, which obviously is a massive red flag, and we should never be feeding our children this anyway. Highly processed meats, which is directly linked to GI cancers and GI upsets, and then obviously lead is the issue. It's just very ultra-processed food, and we cannot expect our children to do well at school given their lunches that are given at school.
So wait a second. Schools were actually serving Lunchables instead of, like a real lunch?
Well, to be honest, their lunches aren't much better. But yes, there was multiple schools that jumped on this bandwagon. It was a big, a big push to get these Lunchables in school. It was obviously which the Lunchables company had these sponsorships, so to speak, with the school, and they were pushing that hard. And honestly, some schools did go through with that. But it's funny that you mentioned that, because, to me, it's no surprise that the lunches of school are not healthy. But to the average Joe, you might think that your children are eating good food. I actually just looked at the menu this morning for my kids' lunch for the week, and it was mini corn dogs, Bosco bites, stuffed crust pizza, popcorn chicken. These are all ultra-processed foods, and our children are eating processed foods for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which, of course, we're no surprise of how we are have morbidly obese children and liver enzymes elevated, and just a world of health issues that we can correct.
What's the effect of all this processed food on our body and our mind?
Yeah, so a lot of the processed food is going to have heavy seed oil. So you're talking about your palm oil, your canola oil, vegetable oil. That is very inflammatory to the body. It disrupts your gut microbiome, and in your gut microbiome lives your immune system. It's very poor for nutritional density, so then you're going to have brain fog. You can be micronutrient depleted. And then it obviously, given that it's inflammatory to your body, you're going to have the start of any type of disease processes in general. You could be, just looking at autoimmune issues or things of that sort. It's really not food. It's actually a chemical byproduct, the oils that I'm talking about, which is in any processed food. And then, of course, when something is processed, that means it's stripped of all of its, natural stuff, and then you have to add things back in to have it consider food. So then you have fortified foods and enriched foods. And then, it's all synthetic. We have to go back to the basics, because we have never been more sick than we are now, our children included.
We have to put stuff back in to make it food. That's one of the most alarming things I've ever heard. I actually thought when I saw fortified and enriched on labels that it meant that they had extra vitamins or extra minerals or extra good stuff in there. But no, it means they had to put stuff in for it to actually be considered food. Now I'm frightened.
Correct. Yep. And of course, that's a marketing. It's a marketing grab. Everything's enriched and fortified. They have to do that to market. But really, in reality, it means that this is so chemically and synthetically made. We have to add back in nutrients so we can actually consider it food, which is, red flag.
We're talking to Mia Scott, ReviveHealthPlan.com here on the Scott Sand Show. What about for like lunch meat and lunches and for kids or adults, really? because I work a lot, and I'd love to pack lunches. I haven't really been making sandwiches to bring to work, other than like a tuna on whole wheat or something like that. What do you do if you want to pack a sandwich for lunch for yourself or for your kid? What kind of meat do you use if you're trying to avoid all the processed meats?
Yep. So anything that's going to be like a deli meat is going to be off the table for us. The way that they're made, the chemicals, the preservatives, the nitrates that they have to put in there, it is once again directly linked to GI cancers and some intestinal issues. But so you have to go back to the lean meats, your lean turkey, your grass-fed beef or ground beef, your salmon and things like that are very nutrient-dense foods. And just that, it's just ground beef. You're not going to have all these additives and stuff to it. So, when anybody is asking me, what do you do for your typical meals or your dieting, so to speak, which it's really a lifestyle, but you have to fill your plate with as much fruits and vegetables as you can. The more colorful, the better. That's going to really feed the good gut bacteria. More diverse your gut microbiome is going to be, the healthier you are. So fill your plate with fruits and vegetables, and then choose your protein of source, whether that's your salmon, your steak, with some ground beef. The ground beef goes with a lot. You can actually mix everything up and make a little hodgepodge bowl. I think people get lost in trying to meal plan and meal prep and make everything perfect, when really you can just kind of throw whatever you want. For example, last night I didn't eat very much during the day. I had a very busy day. Come dinner time, I knew I needed nutrients, so I made a 100% grass-fed patty. I had two easy eggs, a little chunk of sauerkraut, and a big handful of green vegetables. It was delicious. None of it made sense, but it mixed great. And that's you have to eat for nutrition. And I was full the rest of the night. You just really have to change the way that you think about food. It's medicine.
How do you? What are your thoughts on like the rotisserie chickens you can buy from Costco or Kroger or those places? Can you get some of those and peel the meat off for sandwiches? Is that any good? Or
we do
the big packs of like the pre-grilled chicken that come in individual packs from Costco and the grocery stores. Are those okay?
Anything that's prepackaged or pre-filled, you just have to look at the ingredients and some of the things that they add. A lot of those people will have, some type of either shelf stabilizer, and that is when you can get into that heavier processed or basically poison or chemicals. Now, when it comes to the Costco one, we do that once in a while. We shred it entirely. We make chicken salad out of it, or just eat it like that over salads or whatever the case may be. But yes, we do that. Also, there's plenty of local farms that do their own pasture-raised chicken. And you can do it that way, and you just make a bird for the week and whatever works, but really try to stay away from that process. You have to think about, if you've ever saw how a food is processed, like a chicken or what a turkey looks like, and you get a piece of bacon or turkey bacon, nowhere is that on the bird that looks like that. So you have to look at how processed food is. So, if you get this slice of turkey from the store and it's all slimy and it's processed, that's not what they look like. So, you just have to really just dig down back to home cooking and basic meals. But I have no problems with the rotisserie chicken from Costco. We are a frequent buyer of that a few times a month.
We're talking to Mia Scott, ReviveHealthPlan.com here on the Scott Sands Show. I've been on the Revive Health Plan now for just over 8 months. I'm still, for the last few weeks, I've been hovering like around 75, 80 pounds down from the beginning of the year, which is amazing. But I still think I'm losing like body mass, because I got to tell you, Mia, I went to the University of Toledo, the campus bookstore today, because the football game tomorrow is a gold rush, and I didn't have a gold shirt, so I wanted to buy a Gold Rockets t-shirt. Last fall, I kid you not, I was still wearing like 3X hoodies, but I was starting to buy 4X because they were starting to get tight on me. I put on a regular XL hoodie today at the Toledo bookstore, and it fit. I mean, it was a little tight, so I got a 2X, but I was actually able to get it. We're talking about going from a 4X to legitimately maybe being able to wear an XL, but getting a 2X just to feel comfortable and baggy.
Sure. I know it's great progress for many people. And I know that you touched on, losing a little muscle mass, which, you have to look at the big picture. Yes, a lot of these people, we're talking about the GLPs, like the semaglutide and the tirzepatide. A lot of people are fearful that they're going to lose all their muscle and things like that. But when you're talking about someone who is metabolically unhealthy and needs change, the risk versus reward, you're so much better off losing that weight and a little bit of muscle mass versus the latter of being way metabolically unhealthy, very morbidly obese, things like that. And then honestly, a lot of people on our program gain muscle mass because it's just all in the education on how to eat, how to exercise to keep that lean mass and burn the fat, not the muscle, which is obviously goal for anybody.
Yeah, I'm not trying to become a weightlifter or anything, but I am exercising more. I played a round of golf last week. It used to be by around the seventh hole, my back was hurting and I was getting winded. Played all 18 and felt fantastic at the end of the day. I almost like I could have done another 9 holes or so.
I love it.
The medication-assisted weight loss journey has been amazing. You can learn more at revivehealthplan.com and follow Mia and Revive Health Plan on social media. There's one trend. Have you seen on TikTok hashtag carnivore? Last year it was the girl dinner where they would show like 3 beans and a pretzel. That was what they were having for dinner. Now they're talking about meat eaters. What are the dangers in following some of these TikTok food trends that you see all the time, like the meat influencers, the meat influencer trend on TikTok?
Sure. So, the meat lovers of the carnivore diet, you have to understand why these diets, so to speak, work. So, you can absolutely do this terribly wrong, meaning all you eat is pounds of bacon and processed butter with the seed oils and cheese that's, not even real cheese, super poor quality things. Now, if you're eating lean meat, grass-fed beef, grass-fed butter, you're likely consuming little to no processed food, which for a majority of American diet, that is the issue, these processed foods. So essentially, people are going to do very well on these diets because they're staying clear away from those ultra-processed foods. Back to the, basics, staying away from the breads, the bagels, flour, sugars, and eating those high nutrient-dense foods, which are packed with micronutrients, good fats, protein, etc. So I am not surprised at all that the carnivore diet works very well for people because it's what they're not eating, and what they versus what they are eating. Now, the only downfall that I have of this is, you could really do this wrong. And like I said, before with the highly processed, the bad omegas, things like that. But the other thing that I would add is you really do want those fruits and vegetables as well, because like I talked about before, your gut microbiome, we have so much live bacteria. We are more bacteria than we are our own DNA. So let that wrap around your head on how much we have live in our gut. So what we feed them really matters. And the more diverse our gut is, the healthier we are. Our microbiome's better, our immune system's better, et cetera. So by limiting your food to just that meat or carnivore diet, you're losing out on some of those really beneficial gut bacteria that need to survive. That would be my biggest con of that as well. But I think it works great for some people. However, once again, if anything is a diet, it is likely long-term not being able to be sustained because it's just that, a diet. You have to make those lifestyle changes for it to be sustainable.
And the protein is good. One of the things that you've talked about on your TikTok is snacking, how to snack. And you don't want me to snack and you don't want everybody to snack, have a good meal and not be hungry the rest of the day. But I always have some hard-boiled eggs here at the office or at home. And at home, I have organic, naturally made peanut butter that I'll spread on a piece of celery if I do get the munchies.
Exactly. Yeah. Snacking. If it's going to hold you from, eating a bag of Skittles or whatever, as long as it's good food, your cashews, your nuts, your seeds, things like that. Like you said, the peanut butter, that's going to be good protein. I always pair protein with sugar. So perfect example would be an apple with cheese or apple and peanut butter. So not only are you going to have your good carbs, it's going to have fiber, but adding that protein and fats is going to blunt that high glycemic spike, keep you fuller longer. You're not going to have that crash, things like that. So you can pair your food just like you're doing, and that's what's going to keep you fuller longer. I'd rather have people have a good 3, 4 meals, big meals throughout the day that are higher protein, lower calorie, less processed versus just snacking all day. Your body does do better metabolically when it comes to protein synthesis and things like that. So.
I love apples and peanut butter. That's a great snack. I haven't had that in a long time. What can I put in?
Yeah.
You recommended cottage cheese, and we're almost out of time here. You recommended cottage cheese. That's kind of maybe it's a texture thing, but what can I do to try to make cottage cheese more appealing?
Yeah, so if you jump on that TikTok trend on cottage cheese, your mind will be blown. People are making cottage cheese cheesecake. There was a cottage cheese like a pancake pudding this morning that I saw. But you would think that it's not healthy, but when you look at the ingredients, it is. So cottage cheese. My favorite brand is Good Culture. That it has no gums or guars or emulsifiers, sugars. It is the cleanest cottage cheese you can get. I get a big thing at Costco. We go through one a week. You can add, like if you want fruits or vegetables, you can add either fruits and have it be more of a dessert, or add your, tomatoes or cucumbers, onions, and have it be more of like that vegetable. Now, if you don't like cottage cheese at all, a texture thing, you can, mix it in things. So if you like scrambled eggs, you can put a tablespoon, or it's very high protein, so just adding a little will go a long way. Mix that up. You can have more of a creamy egg consistency. If you pour it in a blender with an egg and some seasoning, and you spread that on like a parchment paper, you can bake it in the oven and have a cottage cheese wrap. It does not taste anything like cottage cheese at all when you make it a wrap. A very high protein, not ultra processed type thing. Those are the ways that you have to start thinking on changing versus tortillas that have 15 ingredients in them. Half of them you don't know what they are. It's just really simply making better changes. But I'll send you some cottage cheese recipes.
Please do. Mia Scott, follow her on social media, on TikTok, on Insta, Revive Health Plan, and visit revivehealthplan.com. The medication-assisted weight loss journey I've been on for 8 months, absolutely life-changing. Lower cardiovascular risk, lower risk of stroke, and damn it, I'm moving from 4X to 1X or 2X clothes. It's been amazing. Mia, I love you. Love Tim. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me.
Thanks for having us. Good to chat.